everybody? It's your boy SBX. This is my next wrestling video based on like at least my experience dealing with the biggest assholes in wrestling. My experience meeting these people and whatnot. So pretty much, I have to say that the reason why they're on my video is because I had pretty much some negative energy towards them, and how they act towards me is just really not very professional, and it kind of makes you seem like they don't give a fuck about their fans, and not only that, just straight out just being a dick, and put their personal grudges on other people's faces, and people like that need to stop doing that shit and stop being arrogant and stop being such a dick. Without you, what I'm saying, you couldn't deal without uh support and love. So anyways, this is my list of wrestlers that are pretty much jerks, assholes, and just straight out just trash. Pretty much trashy personalities. Now, the first person on the list is Lita. The reason why I had to put her on this list, surprising fact is, Lita sounds like a stuck-up bitch. I mean, this picture might say, oh, she looks friendly, she looks cool. Yeah, it does look nice and cool. But before that, I saw Lita and I was, happy, and I was excited to meet her. And she had this nonchalant type of attitude, like, like for example, let's say if you're trying to holler at a chick that you like, or just to start a conversation with, it's like the conversation doesn't sound very enthusiastic in a way, and she sounded like she didn't want to be in the convention. So I'm like, all right. So I mean, I didn't want to bore her off for talking, but it seemed like, she just didn't sound like she's very interested in being here in the first place. And I heard people saying that Lita is a fucking cunt. And now I realize that is true. Because, for what she did to Matt Hardy in the relationship, the way how she talks, it's just like, yeah, she sounds like she does not give a fuck about anybody's feelings, like as in very non-empathetic, or don't show no type of sympathy whatsoever. So, this is the wrestler that I've admired as a female diva from the WWE, and also I used to have a crush on her since I was like 10 years old. I mean, it kind of grew out after a while, but I just can't believe that I used to have a crush on a woman who was just like this in real life. I'm sorry. I love Lita as a wrestler, but as a person, Amy is she's just very bitter, in my opinion. So, I mean, everybody has a different experience with other wrestlers, but I feel like I just did not have a good experience with Lita at all. But the picture was cool. I'll take that. But the next time I see Lita, I don't think I would even want to approach her. So that's just my take on her. So pretty much, she's on the list. Next on the list is Big Sexy, or Diesel, aka Kevin Nash. I feel like he was such a dick because I remember I was going to a indie show a few months ago, and they entered the building, him and Scott Hall. Sorry, just blanked out for a minute. And I wanted to take a too sweet moment with Kevin Nash, And the first time I did it, he just straight out ignored me. He just walked past and too sweet somebody else. But Scott Hall gave me a too sweet, which it was cool. So by the time I was taking my picture with these guys, Kevin Nash didn't want to have a conversation with me. But I was too busy talking to Scott Hall because Scott Hall was more nicer to me because he liked my Kenny Omega shirt and he was discussing about his son who was in the Bullet Club for a minute. And to me, it's like Scott Hall was more nicer than Kevin Nash. And I shook Scott Hall's hand and said, thank you, see you later. And I tried to do the same thing for Kevin Nash, and nothing. I don't get this guy. And then by the time they came into the ring, he went around the crowd and trying to give too sweet to everybody. Again, Kevin Nash would not even give me a too sweet whatsoever. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is your damn problem, man? You know what I'm saying? I've been your fucking fan since the fucking WWE days when you're fucking Diesel and you was Kevin Nash from the WCW days, and my grandma had a fucking huge crush on you. Now it's like you shitting on me for what reason? You nice to everybody else, but like me, like what the fuck did I ever do to you? That was kind of like that type of feel though. But Scott Hall was just like I said, Scott Hall was a lot cooler and not a lot nicer than Kevin Nash is. Like I don't get his fucking issue. You know what I mean? I've tried it because, like I said, I've always liked the Outsiders. I've always liked NWO. I always liked the Wolfpack. But damn it, Kevin Nash really shitting on my childhood just for that. That's just a big slap on the fucking face. Like you use a fucking dildo and just slap me with that shit because you're a fuck. Like that was a real prick move that he did. So honestly though, Kevin Nash is an asshole, and people say that he has his dickhead moments, and now I believe that. So pretty much, fuck Kevin Nash. He's on my list. This guy on the list is King Kong Bundy. Now, I'm not saying that with this picture, I didn't expect for this to happen. Like, I asked him if he can do a choke on me, and he insists. But that shit really feel like it took a lot of energy. Like, I really almost choked to death because of that shit. But I will say this: King Kong Bundy, I will say he is a dick. Was I remember I was at this convention and King Kong Bundy saw my friend and he was cosplaying as Macho Man Randy Savage. And, you know, he was like, "Oh, you like Randy Savage?" I'm like, he was like, "Yeah, he's my favorite of all time." I don't know if that's exactly what my friend said, but he was like, "Oh, Macho Man is a turd. I hate Macho Man. He's an asshole," and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you know what? Despite the fact that even if Macho Man was an asshole when he was alive, or you working with him back in the days, you didn't like him, you had some bad blood with him, doesn't give you the right to just blur out saying that Macho Man was a turd and you don't like him. And you're putting your personal feelings out there for, people who are fans with him, or just your so-called fans. And I really feel like that was just disrespectful, for not only disrespecting a dead guy's perspective. I even said that, like, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? The guy is dead. I mean, keep your personal problems to yourself. And honestly, I feel like he was trying to convince people to be his fans and, be on his side. And I don't like people like that. I'm not saying that he's not a nice person. He's cool. But I just think that when he's a jealous person, he's a dick. He's such a dick when he's such a jealous guy, because I've heard his interviews, and he said a lot of crazy shit about Macho Man Randy Savage and the reason why y'all don't like each other. But I don't know Macho Man Randy Savage. If I can agree that he was a dick, then I will know. If he's not a dick and he's cool with me and he's cool with his fans, then you're the fucking problem. Or better yet, he's just being an asshole on the down low. Maybe it's that, but we can't prove that Macho Man was a dickhead. But if you have some type of animosity towards him, that's understandable. But just don't do that towards people who are fans. You know what I'm saying? That shit right there is just so immature and just straight retarded. I'm sorry, but King Kong Bundy, you just been assigned to the asshole list. Next guy on the list who is an asshole is Disco Inferno. Now, I met this guy, what was it, 4 years ago, I believe. And, you know, again, I was always going to these conventions. So when I met Disco and Homo, I try to initiate conversation with him and say, hey, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in years, you know, and he just straight out ignored me. I was facing towards him, right in his face, and he just looked past me like I'm a fucking ghost or something. You know, like I'm nobody. I'm a fucking peasant to you. So, you know, long story short, I just believe that this guy is an asshole, and I didn't even want to take a picture with this dude because of his fucking attitude and the way he, you know, looked towards through me. You know what I mean? Like he looked through me like I'm fucking invisible or something. So honestly, Disco and Homo, he's an asshole, and he just made the list of being an asshole. Next guy on the list is Mr. Ass, aka Billy Gunn. Now, I believe he's a Mr. Asshole, in my opinion. He is a Mr. Ass because I feel like the first time I met Billy Gunn, it was cool. You know what I mean? But I did wanted to take a picture with him. But the problem was I was too busy waiting for Bret Hart. And, you know, Bret Hart took a very long time to wait for. And, I got a chance to meet Bret Hart. And then I roamed around and looked for Sting. And then looked for other wrestlers. So by the time, I tried to reach out to Billy Gunn. And, he was already about to leave. I was like, oh, shit, he's about to leave. And I said, hey, Billy, I wish I could have took a picture, but I don't want to disrupt you. He just ignored me and just walked past through me and said, yeah, And I said, okay, bye then. And he just ignored me. So, honestly, it's like, in the beginning, it's like, I feel like Billy Gunn was really two-faced in the motherfucker. Because at 1 minute he just was really cool, and then the next he just turned on his asshole mode. You know what I mean? He just went asshole mode on a nigga, yo. So honestly though, Billy Gunn really promote himself into being an asshole. So you just crowned yourself as, what you are, an asshole. So pretty much, you are what you eat, bro. Mr. Ass Man. Next guy on the list is New Jack. Now, I've always known New Jack looked like an asshole in real life. And I've looked at his interviews. I've heard a lot of rumors about what he did. And even seeing him in person makes you feel like, you know what? I don't even think it's worth it for taking a picture. When I saw him, he was just looking so pissed off. Like, he looked like he didn't want to be here. He looked like he was on timeout. Looked like his mama spanked his ass and told him to get around the corner. Go sit in a corner somewhere. Like, boy, go sit down somewhere with that foolishness. He sit down, like his facial reaction just looked like it is not calm. He is just so pissed. He is just not liking that vibe. Like, he looked like he just lost a friend. So I try to wave at him. He just looking like, you know what the fuck do you look like you waving at me for, nigga? The fuck do you want? So he did a slowly he just did a slow nod. Like, you know, he don't fuck with you, but just say fuck it. You know, I don't like you ass, but fuck it. But I just didn't really feel like the need to even reconsider meeting New Jack. You know, if I feel the hostility, I mean anybody can feel it. If you feel the hostility, you feel the heat going through. It's like New Jack is like warming up the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen him taking pictures with people. He stand up and you know, give them their photo op and just keep it moving. You know, you don't want to shake this dude's hand or nothing. You just fuck it, just take your picture and leave. I thought about it, but instead I said, nah, that's not worth it. So pretty much New Jack has just made it on the list. Now, this guy should be at number one because to be honest though, I've seen this guy in person. I've seen how he do with people and how he treat them and how he fuck people over. Is Abdul the Butcher. If you guys don't know about Abdul the Butcher, he's not really a WWE wrestler. He was wrestling in old school wrestling events and indie shows and whatever. Uh, this guy, I have to say, he's the number one asshole in my book. Is because this guy do not respect his fans whatsoever. He hates being in these events, you know. And I remember him signing autographs and taking pictures with people, and just like New Jack, you feel the hostility to him, you know. And I looked at him. I said, I don't even think it's worth taking a picture with this guy, in my opinion. I don't even think that he looks like he wants to talk to people or want to interact with anybody. So my friend, he actually wanted to shake Abdul the Butcher's hand, and he just left them hanging like a cord phone. You know what I mean? Honestly, I just thought that was an asshole move he did. And then when I saw him, I didn't want no autograph. I didn't want to meet him. I asked for directions to the bathroom. I was like, I needed to use the bathroom. And I said, do you know where the bathroom is? He just looked at me and he just said to go fuck off. And just, he didn't want to talk. You know, like, no, I don't want to talk, no. So I'm like, I'm not even asking you for anything. So I was like, you know what? Fine. You fucking crippled ass, fucking hepatitis having ass motherfucker. So, I mean, my thing was this. I heard this guy is an asshole working in professional wrestling. And what he did to Hannibal was really fucked up, and he would not admit his wrongdoings, you know? And this guy has hepatitis. He got every fucking alphabet. Shit. And then this guy is fucking using forks and knives and shit and poking them into his head and shit, and you smearing that onto somebody else's skin. That's fucking disgusting, yo. And you don't even think that's wrong. And then you also have a fucking restaurant in Georgia. And I don't even know where your knives and forks be. You probably fucking stick them shits right in your fucking head or sticking right up your ass or whatever. You know? I really feel like this guy is just ridiculous in so many levels. And this guy just do not admit his fucking wrongs. And I feel like this guy is a fucking asshole. Like, he is the king of all assholes. So that's all I gotta conclude to that part. So anyways, folks, I'm done here. This is my list of asshole jerk dickhead wrestlers that I've met thus far. The majority of wrestlers that I've met were either cool or they were decent. So I had never had much problems with too much bad wrestlers except these assholes. So anyways though folks, please leave a comments on the comment sections below, like and subscribe. SBX, I'm out. Peace.